Hi, I'm Nirman and I am a second year student at Hampshire College. I love computer science and I love behavioral economics, and I also love entrepreneurship and the idea of like making things happen and bringing people together. That's something I really love to do. So I'm transitioning into Div 2 right now, and I'll soon have my committee request done, and bam, I'm into Div 2 then. It might be something that revolves around computer science and behavioral economics, because that's something that truly I'm passionate about. But I don't know exactly what it's going to be like, so I'll try and figure that out. There are a lot of factors that worked that brought me to Hampshire. First one was Lee Spector. He's an amazing professor, and he's a professor in artificial intelligence. Last year I took all of his classes, all of his courses, and I was absolutely thrilled by what he had to teach. The second factor is David Kelly, who was a math professor here. And because he was a math professor here, he did a summer program for high school kids. And one of my high school teacher back in India told me about it. So I was like, hey, it's a good place to check out David Kelly and meet him and talk to him about his work. And the third reason that I truly love to just talk about to everyone, I talk about it with all my friends, is the fact that Hampshire has no exams. But more than no exams, it's also about the new structure of education that it brings to life. And the idea that you can figure your way through about what you want is something I really like. The process of making something, instead of just giving an exam or instead of just getting a mark, the process of making something at Hampshire, like you start with the Div 1, then Div 2, and then in Div 3 you have something that is entirely yours. I think that is something I truly love. I've always been more of an entrepreneur kind of person. I first discovered it when I completed high school and I started my own company called Circuitrix. We started to work with a lot of schools in India, and then we ended up partnering up with Intel, and we reached out to 100 schools in India with 10,000 students. And that was fantastic. And that's when I learned that, oh my God, I just love entrepreneurship and I want to dive into it. So I think when I came to Hampshire, I had that as a huge objective in mind. And that's something I want to do. I want to learn business in a structured fashion. I want to learn entrepreneurship in a more interesting way and start something new. The first year when I came in, I had an idea of HampHack. It's the first ever interdisciplinary hackathon event in the whole of Massachusetts. And I was like, hey, let's make it happen. So I talked to the president of the college. I talked to other people who I just could find off the internet. And then I'd go out like every student, literally. My first year was the time when I had almost talked to every student about what HampHack is and tried to bring them on board. And at the end of my first year, I ended up doing HampHack. And it ends up being a very successful event. We have more than 200 people attending the event and more than 35 projects that came out of the event. So that was just fantastic. And that's when it kind of hit me that, oh my God, Hampshire is a place where you can actually just do what you like to do and figure out and try out things that you wouldn't have done otherwise. So that was pretty cool, and that's how I got into entrepreneurship. I've given a TEDx talk in India. It's called Hacking a Gap Year. So I took a gap year after high school, and where I made this company and stuff. And in the TEDx event, I talked about how to best utilize your time in a gap year and why it's important to take a break from your regular life. There was another student X talk that was powered by TEDx Amherst. And I talked about what I feel is a great product and how a good product is different from a great product. I think it's supporting me great. It is a fantastic program. And the thing that I truly love about it is when you believe in your idea, they believe in your idea. And I think that's a very powerful thing, because usually when you go out and tell people about your idea, no matter how much you believe in it, people won't believe in it until they see a very rational output coming out from that. Or like, oh, give me a solid proof that it's going to work, then I can support you. That's the mindset out there. And I think at Hampshire, what is very interesting is that if you believe in something, they'll be like, all right, you believe in it, we know you can make it happen. And here you go, here's the support you need from us. Here are the people you would need, anything that you need, here it is. And when you have someone who believes in you like that, what's very interesting is that you start to develop a sense of responsibility. You start to feel like, all right, now I got to make sure this happens. And when you have that drive, you just absolutely nail it. whatever you want to do. So I think that is one of the most exciting points and the strongest points about entrepreneurship at Hampshire. Very hard question. Honestly speaking, I don't actually I don't actually plan anything 2 months ahead in my life. But something that I truly believe that I really want to do is build and execute the largest company in the world. And this might sound like very, very ambitious and just like way too abstract and out there, but that's something that I really want to do. And that's something that I'll truly enjoy doing, because it's not about the fact that, oh, I want to mint all that money. No, it's not about that. If I had to give all of that 90% in charity, I'd just do that. But I think what I really like is the fact that I have the ability to get people together. And I know that when people come together, something phenomenal can happen. And that's something I really love to do. So I don't know what I'm going to do exactly after Hampshire. I don't know, this is the step, that's the step, 20 years, 27, 25. I don't know all of that. But I know one thing for sure, that I want to build a company. And I want to be really, really good at what I do. And everything that I do, I feel, will be towards or around building a company or a startup, and that's something I really want to do, and that's what I see myself doing. Usually, in the outside world, business is always about the bottom line. And the reason you say the bottom line is because when you look at a profit and loss account, the bottom line tells you about the profit, and that's the only thing that everyone really cares about. One thing that I've truly learned at Hampshire is that it's not about just the bottom line; it's about something called the triple bottom line. The idea that you not only get money, but you also make sure that your people, like the people on the planet, people and the planet are really, really served well. So it's very important for me as an entrepreneur to know that the only thing a business really, really works on is people. And you got to make sure that the people are given the first priority and they get exactly what they want in the most ethical fashion. And at no point should the people you serve feel like they have been exploited or unethically used somewhere. So I think that's one thing that I learned at Hampshire, and I think it's a very important lesson that I'll be always taking with myself.